In the village of Repyakhovka, Krasnoyarsk district in Belgorod region, Russian army soldiers looted the homes of Russians instead of protecting them. Russian soldiers entered Repyakhovka to repel an attack by the Ukrainian Armed Forces on the Belgorod region, but decided to gut the homes of locals. There were no Ukrainian soldiers in the village, but Russian fighters were busy with their usual business, looting. Our soldiers are such good guys. They protect us. They climb into other people's houses. One of the village residents bitterly commented in a conversation with the publication Pepel. According to him, at least 20 houses were robbed. In some houses lie the dead Russian soldiers, he added. Empty bottles of alcohol from drinking parties are scattered around the house. Earlier, Belgorod region governor Vyacheslav Gladkov reported that entry to Repyakhovka was temporarily restricted. However, local residents say that a significant portion of people remained in the village, unable to leave. There was no evacuation as such. People were informed about everything when it was no longer possible to leave. Many broke through on their own. Others are afraid to leave their homes. There are too many drones. It is impossible to leave the village, a resident said. Some, in desperation, are returning to the village across the fields to try to save their property from the hands of their own marauding soldiers. But the situation is becoming increasingly dangerous. The governor is urging people not to return, and there are already wounded among those who have risked it. The artistic director of the Repyakhovka Cultural Development Center and United Russia deputy Tamara Melnikova was forced to admit in an interview with Pepel that looting does indeed take place. However, she claims that the evacuation was organized clearly and quickly, although the villagers themselves tell a completely different story. The head of the administration was busy with the evacuation from early morning. There was enough transport. Everyone was persuaded to leave, especially children and the elderly, Melnikova insists. But the reality turned out to be different. Many stayed. There was shelling in the village, and Russian soldiers were in charge of the houses, robbing even their own citizens. The looting of the Russian army has long been its calling card in the occupied territories of Ukraine. But now the Russians are forced to admit their soldiers do not differentiate between theirs and theirs. They rob everyone they can reach.
Russian troops launched a missile strike Monday afternoon in Sumy city center, hitting residential buildings and a school. Children were inside the protected building. At the moment they are being evacuated. All of them are safe and sound, regional head Volodymyr Ardyak said on a video published by Sumy administration. Sumy's acting mayor, Artem Kobzar, reported that 28 people were injured in the strike, including 4 children. Kobzar did not specify whether 4 injured children were in the school during the attack. According to Associated Press, the attack follows Russian strikes overnight which killed 7 people. The attacks occurred ahead of ceasefire negotiations in Saudi Arabia, in which Ukraine and Russia are expected to hold indirect US-mediated talks.
Ворог наніс ракетний удар по центру міста. Постраждало декілька багатоповерхівок. Основне школа, діти знаходились в захисній споруді, зараз їх евакуювали, всі живі, здорові. Рятувальні служби працюють по ліквідації наслідків, тушіння пожеж. І обхід робимо багатоповерхів щодо надання допомоги постраждалим людям.
Стойте там, никуда не уходите.
Прямо така лежать.